I am Brooke Flack, your host today here on the Grit Crusade podcast. And this is our first remote guest episode. Yay! So
Yeah.
excited to have my new friend, Brittney Baxter, here straight from Hollywood, California. Hello. All right, Brittney.
Hollywood.
Yes, Hollywood. All right. Well, you can see the sign behind Brittney if you are watching on YouTube. But if you are listening on your favorite podcast streaming platform, she has a sign behind her that's talking about her big topic today about the writers and actors strike, right?
Yeah, it
Yes.
is. Mm, mm.
Well, tell us a little bit about you before we get into the strike. So tell us where you're from. Tell us how you got to Hollywood, a little backstory.
So I am a Bryant High School graduate of
Oh, that's my alma
2004,
mater. Yeah, we have the same alma mater. I forgot we connected on that on Facebook. Yeah, that's right.
but I am from all over the South. My dad was the music pastor at Geyer Springs most of
Okay.
my childhood and growing up. And it's just the stage is just where I was always so comfortable.
Which is a big Baptist church here. Like for people not from Arkansas, like it's a huge Baptist church.
Yeah, right on the interstate, just
Yeah.
right
Yes.
there, just large. Yeah, right there. But I was super shy growing up and I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't even spend the night with my best friends, like none of that sort of thing. But I was 10 when we moved to Arkansas, and the production team at the church had like this little tiny TV show that aired on like the local Arkansas like PBS type
Yes. I was
situation.
about to say PBS.
Yeah, yeah. And so she came to my dad and she was like, Brittany sings, right? And my dad was like, yeah. And she was like, does she want to be on the show, like on this next season of the show? And I was like, no, absolutely not. No, I will not, I will not do it. No.
Says the actress now, right?
Yeah.
The
And
10
my
year
dad,
old.
I know. And my dad is like, come on, like it's gonna be fun. It's not live, it's like all recorded. And I finally gave in and then I couldn't get enough of it. So for anybody who went to Bryant, like, I sang in choir, I was a honeybee.
You're a honeybee. Oh my
I
gosh.
was
My best friend was a honeybee
a
too. So
Fanny.
yes, yes, you know Danny. Yes, she's
Yes.
amazing. Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
honeybee.
Yeah.
I,
We were fire.
I
I'm not gonna
love
lie.
that.
We
Y'all
were
were great.
amazing.
Y'all were
We
great.
were so good.
So
So
after
good.
your 10-year-old, you decide to strip off this fear and go
Yeah.
on the little local PBS TV show. And so how did that lead you to Hollywood?
So my husband's active duty military. Well, he was active duty military. He
Okay.
is now a reservist and he
Okay.
works for a contracting company. But
Yeah.
before I met him, I was doing a stage show in Hot Springs. And so I was singing like 3, 4 nights a week and stuff like that. I went to college at University of Mobile in Alabama. Then I later came home and met him and he was about to leave to go into the Navy. And I was just like, okay. So we got married super fast
And
just
left.
because I mean, that's all she wrote.
Okay,
Like,
what stage show were you in Hot Springs?
it was called the Bathhouse Show. It was at the
Okay.
corner of like, it was right by the visitor center.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
It
cool.
was one of the big ones. It was
Our
a
local
variety
people,
show.
yeah, that's
Yeah. It
cool.
was,
Our local people know that one for sure.
yeah, it was so much fun. But we moved to Hawaii. We've lived all over the place with the Navy. And when he finally gave it up and was like, no, no more, I'm ready to not deploy all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
The contracting world came in and we ended up in LA. And I looked at him and I was like, I gave up the stage like 16 years ago and I got to go back. I live in
Oh,
LA. How can I
yes.
not?
Yes, absolutely, especially
So
if it fuels you, if that's what your, like, soul is, like, on fire the most when you're acting, like, you have to go for it.
yeah, and I told him and I had told my dad, I'm like, I never knew that I could have it all. I never knew that I could be like, we've almost been married 17 years. Like we got a successful marriage in terms of anything in this world.
Yeah.
We've got 2 kids who are adorable and incredible and drive me insane. And now I get to have the career too. And I never, ever, ever
Thought you
thought
could
I
do it
would
all.
get to
Now
do that.
how old are your kids?
My daughter is 12 and my son is 7.
Oh,
So,
those are fun age. So I used to be a public school teacher before I became an entrepreneur and all of that. I was a public school teacher. It was a total God thing. I was a calling, like I was working in business and I was like, this doesn't feel right. Like this doesn't
yeah.
feel good. And I didn't even really like kids. I don't even know what happened, but I just really followed God's lead, And so I taught fifth, sixth, and eighth grade over 7 years. And so those age where the kids like start getting smelly and weird and all that, I love that age. And so a 12-year-old girl is like my jam. Now,
All right.
when they're like 14 and a half, I'm out. I'm
Okay.
out.
I'm sending her to your house and you can have her until she's
I
14. I'll
know,
take her
right?
back.
Gosh, you'll have to take her back because like 14 to 17 is my husband's sweet spot. Like he coaches one of our senior age kids at the gym. And so I'm like, but their attitudes, like they act, but he's a man, so they act different to him. But to me, I'm like, you act like I've never been 14 before. Like, what? I
Yeah,
know. So I can't do it. I can't do it. The 12-year-olds, the 7-year-olds. Oh, goodness. Now, do they homeschool? Do they go to public school
we
there?
do.
You
We
homeschool.
homeschool.
Okay.
We do.
All right.
We're attached to a charter school here in LA.
Okay.
And so it's a whole different vibe here than
Yeah.
anywhere I've ever
I can
been.
imagine. So do a lot of people homeschool there? Is that a thing?
Tons of people homeschool here.
Okay.
It is we have charter schools that are only homeschool charter schools. It's like a
So do they
whole
come there to do like some joint activities or no?
yes, we have field trips. We have like guest speakers. We have all these things. The state even provides us with state funds to
Stop
like
it.
pay
Okay,
for
so
activities.
Arkansas just passed a new, and I'm gonna like say it wrong, but it's like a voucher system basically where
Mhm.
by 2025, all of our kids will be able to take their like the money they would spend on them in public schools and use it anywhere they want. Yeah,
Yes.
so I think
Yeah.
that's kind of a similar thing. Like Arkansas's just now got to that, so that's
It's
cool.
amazing.
That's really cool. I am homeschool curious. So we're starting public kindergarten and I have a lot of anxiety about it. I have a very, very gifted child who also has some needs and a little bit of
Uh-huh.
delays in certain areas. He was born 10 weeks early. And so he's excited. He doesn't mean a stranger, but those mama nerves. So we are
Yeah.
starting with public school because obviously, being from here, we have great public schools in Arkansas.
Yeah.
But I'm homeschool curious, like in the long haul, because we love to travel and we love to do other things too. So
Well,
yeah.
we'll have to talk.
Yes, I may have to hit you up on that. All right.
This
So
is
so
this is
you
our
met
seventh year.
so you've been doing it. You've been
Oh
doing it
yeah.
for a
Yeah.
while. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
So I got whatever you need, I got.
Yes, I love it. Thank you. That's a great connection because I'll probably be like, I can't do this anymore at some point. So, which I'm sure every mom's like that, no matter what you pick.
Yeah,
So, okay,
100%.
so you meet your husband, you guys go to LA, and I'm going to become an actor now. I've been out of this for 16 years. I'm going to do this thing. And how long ago was that?
That
When,
was over 2 years ago.
so for 2 years, you've decided I'm going to be an actress now. Like I can
Yeah.
do this. And
I
how has that
decided I was
been?
going back.
Like, how has it been? Like, what did you do? Like, how did you even start?
I don't know. I'm not scared of
Like,
anything
hi, my
at
name is Brittany and
all.
I'm going to be an actress. Do you have any experience? Well, I was on this like stage show once in this town that you've never heard of. It's also
Yeah.
really cool, I promise.
And theater. I was like,
Yeah.
I've done tons of theater. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you
Yeah.
want? Like, I'm
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
theater is like my thing,
Yes. Yeah.
But theater is
Yeah.
exhausting. So I was completely done with theater.
Yeah.
But no, I just decided that I was going to start just jumping in, like castings and all sorts of stuff. And uh, you have to have no fear. You have to be able to just say, you know what? I'm going to go. And, we're really weird around here because we really talk a lot about let's see, like trafficking, human trafficking, all these things. But
Yes.
in Hollywood, we get an email on like Thursday and they're like, okay, Friday, go to this parking lot and there's going to be a yellow sign labeled this. And then there's going to be a tent and there's going to be a guy in the tent. Go check in with that guy and then get in the van and we're going to take you to set. And
And
we're like, okay.
you're like, sounds good. You're going to pay me $3? I'm in.
It's like Clint all the time was just like, so where are you going tomorrow? And I
And
was
do I,
like, parking lot on the corner of like Hollywood and Vine or something.
he's
I
like,
don't know.
do I need to send special ops to follow you? Like, I feel like his Navy like protectiveness has got to be like, this screams bad.
Well, there was a show that I was filming last year. Um, it's a show based on a book. And this is the thing is I can't say the names of the
Yeah.
shows right now that we're struck
During the
against
strike, right? Yeah, during the
during
strike.
the
Okay.
strike. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's considered promotion and
Okay.
advertising.
All
So,
right.
but there's this show that I did last year. It was based on a book about a band and a girl came and joined the band and she's named after a flower. Anyways, so I did this show
Da, da, da,
last.
da, da, da.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all we got.
Yeah, that's all you get. And so we're up in like the mountains of the Hollywood Hills and stuff, and we're on like this cliff. That's where we left some of our base camp items, and that's where we had snacks and stuff. Clint texts me, and he's like, "Are you okay? Where are you? What is going on?" because my phone was pinging off the side of the cliff.
Oh, lovely. And
And
so
I
he's
was
like,
like,
"Are you gonna jump? Like, is somebody about to push you? Like, what's fixing to happen here?"
yeah. He's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I am in like this 800 square foot tiny house." I was like, "We're filming a scene in the dark. Like, I'm
It's
singing with
okay.
freaking Elvis's granddaughter right now. Leave me alone." Like,
Stop it. I'm done. Oh my gosh. I'm so fascinated with her. I was reading an article last night about how she was had a surrogate that delivered her child and was talking about why
mhm.
she did that and Lyme disease and all these things. So I'm a huge Elvis fan. I don't know if it's being a girl growing up in the 80s and 90s and living close to Memphis and going to
I don't
Graceland with
know.
my mom, but like I'm like a whole the Presley family just fascinates me because
It
he
is
just has amazing story.
the dynamic is very fascinating.
Yeah.
And she's an absolute doll, by the way. She's precious.
Oh, I
She's
love
precious.
that. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of fast forward just a bit to the strike. We're going to talk about what the project you're working on and kind of strike day. And then we're going to take a little break because we do a fun segment on the podcast called Trivia in the Trenches where I ask you a trivia question and see if I can stump you. Okay.
Yeah, you'll stump me. I
I know.
guarantee it
Yeah,
right now.
maybe not. No, that you could be into this. Like I never know. Sometimes people answer it and I'm like, I thought that was a really hard one. And they're like, no, that was the answer. I know. I grew up on a farm. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
thanks. Okay. So you've been acting for 2 years. You're now a lot captain. So what is a lot captain? So give people like kind of a idea what a lot captain is.
So at each studio, I'm at Paramount. I'm assigned to Paramount because the show that I wrapped right at the writer's strike.
Which was like the
Um,
day, like May 2nd was the day.
yeah, we literally the way our schedule worked, it was perfect because we literally wrapped like not like what, like 18 hours after the strike started. So, and
Oh
it's a
my gosh.
sitcom.
Okay.
And so we film in front of a studio audience. It was our season finale.
And it's a
Um,
remake.
it's
Can
a
I say that? Can
remake.
I say that? It's a remake. I'm
It's
really
a re
excited about.
it's a remake, reboot, but it's not. It's a
Okay.
whole new vibe with Kelsey Grammer.
Oh,
Um,
I feel like that's just so excited right there. That's just epic.
I
Just like,
know,
what a
and
legend. What a legend.
I love him to pieces. He's like everybody's like grandpa,
I
you know?
know. I
He's just
know. I feel like I grew up with him,
I
like
know.
being like my dad's age or so. And so, yeah,
Well,
that's great.
yeah, he is, and he's like one of the most genuine people that I've met in Hollywood, and he is one like he can go from like this to this in a matter of like I don't I don't know. I just love watching him work. I love all of the things. But we wrapped that and we actors could still work, but we love our writers. We support our
Yes.
writers.
Well,
And
because without them, I mean,
well,
what,
we have nothing to say for
yeah,
starters.
I know. You're going to ad lib everything. Just, all going to become stand up comedians and hope it works out.
Oh my gosh. And some people
Right?
I know have tried that and it is not
Not
going
not
well
not not going well.
at all. 10
It's
out
like
of 10 would not recommend.
like baby girl. So okay, how did you get this job though? So you're kind of like a new name, right? 2 years, which is a short term in Hollywood, and now you're on a
Very.
frigging
Yeah.
sitcom with Kelsey Grammer. How did you get that job?
I think my red hair got the job.
Yeah,
Honestly.
woo! I love it. I love it. You got to work with it, baby. Yeah.
No, because it has been announced that this new sitcom does take place in Boston,
Okay.
and redheads and Boston are just a whole
Thing.
thing.
Okay.
So I think that's technically how I got it.
Yeah.
I took the job as a background role,
Yeah.
which used to we were called extras, but I took this as a background role because I got there and stinking Jimmy Burrows was directing, and Jimmy
Okay.
Burrows does epic pilots. He's the most decorated sitcom director in television history. I mean, like, gosh, I wish I could tell you the shows he even created, but just go back to like the 70s, the show with like the yellow cars in New
We
York.
yeah, we can IMDb him.
Yeah, Jimmy Burrows, he is
Yes.
incredible.
I love
And
it.
I got there and Jimmy's there. And I'm like, okay, so this was a good decision because
Because I'm in front of someone that's like a legend.
freaking legendary. And I
Yeah.
sit down
Two
and the
legends, two legends. Because we
gosh,
got Kim and Kelsey Grammer.
you just have no idea because the hits just kept coming because people who have won like all these incredible awards that work under Jimmy, like they were
Hmm.
all there and they're part of the cast and crew and stuff like
Yeah.
this. And so I'm like sitting there in our second AD, which is we have a director, we have a first AD, first assistant director, and we have a second AD. Second AD kind of runs cast. And so he comes up to me, he's like, we need to sit down and meet. And I was like, okay, cool.
You're like, oh,
And
okay.
I just at first I thought this was gonna be like a one show thing, but I was like, I will my agent and I had talked about it. And well, no, this was before I had my agent. Sorry, a different agent that I had. And
Yeah.
I had talked about it. And she was like, you just I think you need to take it. And I was like, okay. And so I sit down with Rich, and Rich is like, we want you all season. And I'm like, shut the front door. I was like, and I'm like playing it cool on the
Oh
inside. I'm
my
like, okay,
gosh, that's just the
great.
best.
That sounds
Yes.
great. We could do that. We could do all season. We could do
Yeah.
3 months at
Yeah.
Paramount
Yeah.
filming 10
As
episodes.
an actress.
It's like this is the goal. The goal
Yes.
is to be in front of the camera whenever you can get in front of the camera,
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's how you meet people and everybody.
Make the
So
relationships.
yes, it's a relationship business.
Absolutely.
So from February to May, I lived in this world at Paramount
Paramount
and
with legends.
with legends. And at the end of the season,
It's
Rich looked
amazing.
at me and said, "So I'll see you this fall for season 2."
I just
And I
got
was like,
chills all over my body. Stop
"Yeah,
it. That
yeah."
is
But it's
that's epic.
well, it's really cool because you walk into the situation, you're like, "Oh, I'm just here as like a background role." Just to meet and be in front of these people. And then you meet the writers and you love the writers and they wrote me into the script.
They wrote you
Like,
into the script, which so that is like I feel like that's like such a like hitch point for probably where you ended up right now too though because
mm,
you saw the power not only of not I'm not saying writers don't have a huge job an amazing job anyway but like they also have the power to change things as a
yeah,
story or as a season or as a movie evolves and they did that for you
yeah,
like for
they
you
did.
one person that they had no reason to do that for that they don't know you from anybody that you don't have a resume that's 15 years long and they wrote you in
Yeah,
and so
they
I feel
did.
like that has to even like burn deeper in you as you have now, May 2nd, we had rap. And then now here we are in the middle of the strike.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the producers took it out. So there's that. But my writers loved me enough to write me in.
Yeah.
So, but it's okay because we're going back to season 2.
Okay. So now we're going to take a break from talking about writing and work and all those things, which I mean, I guess it doesn't even really feel like work, to you, because this is like your
Oh, never.
passion project. It's awesome. And we're going to do a fun segment on the podcast that we call Trivia in the Trenches. And so I'm going to ask you a question and we're going to see if you know. And if you don't know, well, even if you do know, I usually have a couple more fun facts to go with it. Okay. You ready? All right.
I
Here we
think
go.
so.
All right. Which bees in a hive are there to fertilize the queen?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I was like, she could be a bee girl. Like, people are all
I mean, I'm
bee.
not, but I know that there's worker bees and I know that there's queen bees. And that's
Yeah,
basically all I
that's
got.
all I knew too. That's all I knew too. So when I found this trivia, I was like, this is a good one because it's actually important. So they're called drone bees, like just like a drone.
Right?
I didn't know that. See, you knew more than I did. And so they're the male honeybees, and they
Mhm.
actually are like larger and they hang around outside the hive. But this is what was interesting to me. So the primary focus for a drone is to mate with the queen, and he waits above the ground in the DCA, which is like an area like by the hive. And so, but the queen has like a slight, like a door on the outside where she can like sneak out. Like, I ain't mating with you today, baby. But if she comes out that DCA area, that door, then they all try to mate with her. And if they don't fight, it's just whoever can get the closest to her. And she usually will have like 10 or 20 drones that mate with her at a time.
No, thank
You,
you.
I know. I'm like, too much. I'm tired.
That's a lot. That's a
Like,
lot of
I
situations
know
happening
that's
right
a
there.
lot of relationships to manage and everything. So yeah, there's my fun fact for that. All
That's
right.
crazy. I did know the drone bee. I
I
did. I
didn't
just
know
didn't.
that.
And
I was like, I've never even heard of a drone bee. I was like, well, if she's a bee girl, she'll know this, but if she's
I'm
not,
not.
she might.
But my
Yeah.
daughter is going to be so ashamed of me. You have
Oh,
no
is she a
idea.
bee girl?
No, she's just an everything.
They,
She
yeah,
knows everything.
yeah. She's like it's
We're just,
full of random fact. 12. We're just 12.
she's just really smart. And
And
I'm just
mom.
not.
Oh, whatever. Okay, so all right, so now we're at May 2nd. So we'll go back to our kind of storyline and talk about how we got here. So you're May 2nd, the writers go on strike. And so then July 14th, the actors go on strike, right?
We did.
And you are in the Actors Guild, but you are not
I am
but
a
you are
union member of the Screen Actors Guild. Yeah.
but you are not speaking for them today. You are speaking for you today, right?
I am speaking purely based on my experience, what I know. Yeah, that
Right.
sort of
Well, I
situation.
have like a second. So here's my second trivia. It's not really a trivia, but you may know this. Do you know how long it's been since the writers and the actors have been on strike at the same time?
Yeah, I wasn't even born yet.
1960. Do you know who was president of the Actors Union then?
Ronald Reagan.
Yes, I know. I found that out. And I was like, that just totally puts that time period in there. I'm like, they're like,
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan was president, but not of the United States,
No, of
of the
the SAG.
Actors Guild. Yes, I know. That's crazy. So 1960 to 40 years, 20, so 63 years later. Yeah, that's right. That was some fast math. How about that? I didn't even get my calculator out. So
Hey.
63 years later, we're at the first time that the writers and actors have, all been on strike at the same time. So do you go on strike when the writers go on strike, or did you wait and go when the actors went?
No, we didn't go on strike when the writers went on strike. It was and we were contractually obligated to continue working on projects that we had already
Right,
committed to.
right.
So,
That
for
didn't need
example,
that didn't need writers.
well, it depends on the contract. So we are up it's there's a lot. We're up against the AMPTP, which is the American Motion Picture Television Producers, something like that. I could read it to
Association,
you.
something, yeah.
But it's basically all of the big companies. We're up against Amazon, we're up against Sony, Paramount, Disney, WB Discovery. That's who we're up against. And that's a separate contract. Now, if I was working a soap opera, which I had a contract with a soap opera,
Okay.
I know. But again, we're just getting in front of the camera,
In
right?
2 years, in 2 years. This is so
Right?
amazing. I'm so proud of you.
But we're getting in front of the camera. I had a day on a soap opera that I had to do. I was contractually obligated to do that. And so I did. But besides that, I haven't worked. I love my writers. I stand with my writers. I turned down certain jobs. But the other thing was when the writers went on strike, there was almost a full Hollywood work stoppage. There wasn't, but there was almost.
Well, I
So
saw
then
actors,
when
like, on the picket line before July 14th,
Mhm.
before the
I was
actors
on the picket
actually.
line with my
Yeah,
writers.
I did, and so now you're a lot captain, and so
Yes,
what does that over what?
over at Paramount.
And what does that mean to be a lot captain?
So what we do is there's a lot of safety issues with striking. There's a lot of rules. There's a lot of LAPD, there's a lot of labor board, and in California it's a very labor friendly state.
Yes,
Very.
yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. And then sometimes it's like, wow, there's just a lot.
A lot of
But
it's like, who
the
can
other
remember
thing
all
is,
this?
yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to know. But we get there every morning. For example, yesterday I was the AM captain. Today I'm the PM captain.
Okay.
So I'm obviously not there yet. And we picket every day from 9 to 2. The heat has been becoming an issue because we are in the thick of that California summer
Yeah, yes.
situation.
How hot is it in California right now? Because this episode will drop actually, usually we're about 3 months out on production, but this episode is actually gonna drop the week after we film it. So, like, we are filming it today is August 11th of 2023, and it's gonna drop on, August 17th of 2023. So that'll give
Yeah.
people, like, a reference. So how hot is it there right now? Or how hot is it getting?
So well, it's really hard. If you've never been here, then like if anybody's listening or watching and they've never been here and like experienced a desert style heat, it's different. Like our humidity, but I live coastal. I live
Okay.
right. I'm like super spoiled. We live right by the water, just north of Malibu. And here I will leave my house in the mornings and it's like 60 something degrees in
Ugh,
the middle of summer. This is normal in the middle of summer. Okay, so most 4th of July's we're on the beach in sweatshirts because you never know. This 4th
yeah.
of July we were not. Last 4th of July we were. It's temperamental. But I will drive into Hollywood, and as I'm driving, the temperature change goes up 20 degrees, and then it goes up more. And then by the time I
So,
get to
and you're
Hollywood,
for people that haven't been to California, they're driving when you're driving inland, right? So, like, you're going
so
from the
yeah,
coast, like,
just a little bit.
away from the coast, and so the temperature is going up that much. So once you get I mean, when you're
Yeah,
out on the lot at noon, is it, like, 90 degrees, 100 degrees? Like,
it's close to 100 degrees of a heat index, but
okay.
we are a like heat. It is so it's different than a humid heat. It's not as bad, but it's just hot. It's
Yeah,
just hot. And we have safety vests on and we've got our hat. We're like all layered up out there. But
yeah.
as a lot captain, the most important thing for us is A, safety, and B, trespassing. which I know is
Ah,
weird,
yeah,
but
that makes
the
sense. I wouldn't have thought about that.
lot the lots have a threshold. And basically, we take the sidewalks because they're owned by the city. And as soon as we cross that threshold and we start impeding onto like Paramount property, we could be considered trespassing. And that is a perfect excuse for them to kick us off their lot.
Mm.
So, lot captains coordinate, they keep water filled. It's like managerial style basically, but we work hand in hand with SAG staff. And it's a great connection of, oh, hey, I've never met you before, but you work at headquarters. Oh, hey, I've seen you on this work. It's been really cool to kind of work hand in hand with the people that I would have never, ever, ever worked with because they don't do the production side of things. They do
Yeah, yeah,
our
that's
union
amazing.
side of
I
things.
feel like you're kind of like a little HR manager, like a little staff manager.
Sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like a little of that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why we got to the strike. So I'll kind of tell you what I know, which is like surface level, and then I want you to throw in like the things that you know. So, okay, the things that are actually real is probably what I should have said. So the things that you know. So on in my little bit of research that I've done, so for the writers, AI launched, ChatGPT launched, all this stuff came up, and those were huge red flags. Okay. Then for the actors, it was this likeness thing. And
Mhm.
that, they could have an actor like you come in and say, hey, I'm going to give you $5,000 today. And you're like, $5,000? That sounds like a lot of money today in your career, today in this inflationary environment. And we're going to scan you and then we can use your likeness forever, which in perpetuity. And then on top of all that, there's the streaming issue with people not getting paid residuals on streaming. Like there used to be a almost timeline when shows like quit showing on cable TV, but now they're there forever. And so am I close?
Yeah.
Like, is that's kind of like the general, like what we hear on the other side of the country.
So I will tell you the AI situation, and this is the example I've used, and you may like it, you may not. You can bleep me out or whatever. So with the AI situation, we could go into set, it could be in our contract and we don't know. We could go into set one day, they could tell us, oh, you need to come over here, we're going to scan you. There's nowhere near a $5,000 paycheck that comes with it.
So maybe like
It's either a hundred, it's either $100 or $189. That's it.
oh my
Which
goodness.
is, yeah, your face is like, what? Did she just say that? But that
Oh,
is like, and that's not even the big fight. To me, the big fight with AI is that this is, well, there's a lot that goes into it, but this is an art. That what we do is pure emotion. It's pure, we totally and completely unpeel every layer, and you see like so deep down into us. And then on top of that, we also have our director critiquing us, our second AD critiquing us, we have casting critiquing us, we have producers saying, you're not doing this right, we need something else. And that's a few people who were there. And it comes out the whole world saying that was horrible or oh my gosh, that was amazing. And nobody takes into the account that this is truly an art form. Each one of us are different in what we do. And what they're wanting us to do is basically teach their computers how to be us. They want us to stand there. They want to scan us from head to toe. They
because
want us to like,
because they're
can you
like little
imagine?
learning robots. Yeah, that would
Yes.
make sense.
Yes. And
What?
they say, "Well, you're here for the day. We're going to do this while you're here." And there's no extra pay to it. It's literally nothing. But we're teaching their computers how to laugh, how to cry, or how to appear that they're laughing and crying because AI will never laugh truly. They will never cry. The big thing right now that came out this morning is the scream. Because you think about it in horror movies and all these different things, there are different types of screams.
Well, I mean,
So you've got
you've had little kids, so we've watched Monsters Inc. like a gazillion
yeah,
times, and there's lots of screams for sure. So
mhm.
that's like a big deal. So now they're
Well,
trying
with
to
kids,
teach.
there's a hunger cry, there's a scared cry,
Oh
there's
yeah, with the
a
babies,
hurt
yeah.
cry. AI can't do that. And here's the big example that I've given people because a lot of people don't understand the likeness perspective of it. So let's pretend that it's 30 years down the road and I'm hanging out with my grown kids and I've got a grandkid sitting in my lap or something. And the fact that this is even like analogy is made like this, it makes me sound crazy, but just let's just pretend, okay? Say that there's a scene that comes on in a brothel. Say that there's a brothel
And
scene
you're topless.
and I'm straddling some random guy or girl in the scene.
Or cat.
Who knows? The thing is, if they scan us, if they use our likeness, there is hidden verbiage in the contract that says when they use our likeness and when they whatever, they don't have to tell us. They don't have to have our consent. They can use us for whatever they want to use us for. And I'm sorry about that. I'm not cool with that.
I have like 50 million objections right now, you know,
I
because
know.
it's like morally, you get to choose which projects you work on. And
I do.
for each person that's different. And there's not necessarily a right or wrong. It's just like I may not be comfortable working on topless projects, or maybe you're someone that wants to be nude forever and you don't want to be any clothes projects. And now you're, a Meemaw
Yeah.
on, the prairie on the farm or whatever. What would Little House on the Prairie, I mean, who knows? So I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Like that is I didn't think about it like teaching AI how to
Well,
be the
we keep
actors.
hearing the big thing we keep hearing
That's a
is
lot. That's a
these
lot.
actors are spoiled brats. They already make millions. They
No, they
already do it.
don't. No, they
No, we
don't.
don't.
You
We don't.
don't.
We
Like
don't.
it's just like everything else. Like I have a friend on the podcast, and this episode actually hasn't won't have launched whenever yours launches. But he was an NBA player, right? And he told this amazing story about how he had no idea how much money he was going to make and all that. But he
Mhm.
was in the NBA for 10 years. But like his first year paycheck was like $100,000, like a month or a quarter or whatever, however they were getting paid. And like his other teammate playing there was like getting 2 million a month,
Yeah.
and so there's always going to be the top paid people, but that's not everybody else. That's not the other 80% or
Yeah.
90%,
No. Well, and to even segue into that, one of our other issues is healthcare. And it's an issue all over the country. I understand that. But unionized healthcare is completely different. And I was talking to somebody else in a different union yesterday, a pilots union, and their union healthcare isn't the same way that ours is. And our healthcare is, and a lot of people, they're going to hear this and they're going to go, oh, well, how do you not qualify? Well, go get another job. That's what everybody keeps telling us. Everybody keeps saying, well, if you're not making enough money to qualify for union healthcare, go get another
but how
job.
do you get another job when you're on set for like 4 weeks straight, 10-hour days, and you don't have a day off? And then what are you going to do? You can't even be like a virtual assistant or anything because you literally can't work on any other job during that time frame.
Yeah. A lot of actors, they DoorDash, they Uber Eats, they fit it into their schedule however they can.
Yeah, you would have
But
to.
here is what is just here's a staggering number. Okay. Cause I live in LA where, and I'll just straight up say it. I have like an 1,100 square foot house.
Okay.
We're lucky to have 3 bedrooms. Okay. It's 3,000. My rent is $3,000 a month. My rent.
Ooh,
It's
wow.
not benefiting me in the long run to be paying rent for $3,000 a month.
But who can afford to buy a house there? Let's start there.
Well, like a typical house here, we're averaging is over $1 million now. And when you break it down by all these other things, you can't afford it. But in Hollywood, we okay. So you said a percentage. 87% of our union members in SAG-AFTRA do not qualify for healthcare coverage.
And is that because of the number of hours they work, or it's volume,
It's a money
dollars,
number.
the money
It's
number?
money. So we have to hit a $26,000 threshold every year to qualify for health insurance.
That means you made $26,000 a year, or okay.
Yes,
And
that's it.
87% of the SAG-AFTRA members are not making $26,000 a year in acting.
Correct.
Oh my goodness. Like that's not a livable wage hardly at all,
No,
especially not in California.
especially not here. But what we've asked for,
My daycare teachers make more than that at my childcare
yeah,
facility. Like seriously, and I'm not saying my daycare teachers work their butts off. I'm not saying
no.
they don't, but like they don't have specialized degrees yet. They don't have, and for a lot of them, it's their younger like entry level jobs, and then some of them leave and go on to nursing school, or some of them stay and move up in our companies. But like
Mhm.
that is that is not okay in California.
Well, the sad part is in our contract, we've asked for an 11% increase in our pay to go with inflation.
which would be like $2,700 a year on a
It's still
$26,000 person, which is still
it's still
it's
not a
still not a
lot.
lot. No, it's not a lot.
We're talking about companies that are making billions of dollars because of the product that we are putting out.
And so, okay, so I did watch some YouTube videos because even before I found out about our interview, I'm interested in this. I'm always interested in just how do other businesses run that are not mine. It's almost like
Yeah.
entertainment for me. It's not even like work research. I just think it's fascinating too because I own small businesses, so it's very different from corporate or very different from these big billion-dollar production companies and stuff. So, but I was watching a YouTube video about this guy, and he was telling me so. When you are in the writers or actors union, so you don't actually choose to go on strike. You vote for a strike authorization.
Mhm.
And so basically you're giving the bargaining people, like your leadership that's going to sit down at the table. And I'm going to use the example of Paramount or whoever it might be. They're going to sit down at the table and they're going to say, if you don't do this, we will strike. And so 97% of the writers voted yes. And then
Yeah. And
what was the percentage with the actors?
we were at the same
The same
percentage. We
same
were like
percentage.
96 to 98,
Yeah.
something in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming. It was
So, but
yeah.
what was there like any feedback? Like, what was the hitch pin? Like, what was the point where they were like, no, we're not going for that? Was it the 11% raise? What was it that they were like, no, we're not doing it?
It was a whole slew of things. I mean, literally, like, there are just things that we even asked for. One, we want to be paid on time.
Yeah, you have bills and rent and
We want to
utilities.
be I can say this one. Oh my gosh, I can say something. I did a Nexus hair care commercial
Oh,
back in
of
April.
course you did, girl. With all that fabulous mane you got going on there.
I did that. It turned into more of a hand modeling when the final product came out, which was
Yeah.
great because I think my hands are ugly. So I was like, what?
Somebody like my hands. Okay.
I mean, I know. I was like, ooh, new business venture. But I did that job in April. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid. I got the check last week.
Okay. And then
It
that would
was
be the beginning of August.
it
Yeah.
was only because I filed a claim with my union and my union went and fought for my money, which is another reason why our unions are so important. And honestly, this is not even just a Hollywood, it's across the nation.
Well,
We are
I mean,
discovering that
UPS,
union.
yeah, UPS made the big deal. And so in Arkansas, we are Walmart country. Okay.
Yes.
So we are very ununion friendly in Arkansas, but we do have obviously UPS and we have Union Pacific Railroad is the biggest union here that I know
Yeah.
of. If there's another one, maybe I just don't know about it. But you were talking about the healthcare benefits earlier. So one of my staff members is in a wheelchair. So he was paralyzed in 2016, fell out of a deer stand and severed his neck. And so he is beyond every statistic. He should be like Christopher Reeves was hooked up to the vent for his whole life, and he's not. And he runs our facilities team for our small businesses, and he's amazing and doing great things. But he had a union insurance, right, or union bargain insurance, and Union Pacific Railroad doesn't cover what's called DME, durable medical equipment, which means he couldn't get a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So I can't use my arms and legs, but I can't get a wheelchair because I was part of a union insurance bargaining. I don't know what you call it, like an insurance group, probably, right?
Yeah.
And so, thankfully, there are amazing nonprofit organizations out there, the spinal cord associations and things like that that came forward. I mean, because these wheelchairs can be $40,000, $50,000, and they have to be
It's
replaced. They don't
crazy.
last forever. The batteries are insanely expensive. Like, and now you've lost an income and you're on disability, and so all of those kinds of things. And so, the being able to get insurance is the first step, and then B, being able to trust those people to bargain for what it is that you actually need.
Yeah. It's and that's where we vote in who's on our negotiating committee. We
Okay.
vote in our board members. We have board members, we have a negotiating committee. The problem where all of this combines is that from what I have been told, Carol Lombardi, who is the AMPTP's lead negotiator, who we have now in Hollywood, we've now turned all Karen things into Carol. So it's actually really fun.
Kara.
Yeah. So now it's Carol. Everybody's like, how much could residuals actually cost? Carol,
Carol.
$20.
We don't have
And
Karen anymore. We have
well,
Carol.
it's Carol. So let's just go nationwide with that. It's now Carol.
I love it.
Yeah. But apparently she's on our board of healthcare benefits on the healthcare side of it. This she's got her hands in like everything against
Like, is
us.
that not a conflict of interest? Like, I don't know.
That's
I
what
feel like
I
something like
said.
doesn't mesh there.
Look, I don't know. That's what I said. Look, I'm just an actor. You guys, I don't know. I
Yeah.
luckily I know how to set up a ring light. I know how to set up my camera,
Yes. So
all these
now,
things.
so what happens now? Like, what is there any progress being made?
Officially today on
August
August the
11th.
11th,
Okay.
Carol called.
Carol.
We won't say it like that. Carol called and they have officially invited the writers back to the negotiating table. Now, they invited them in for a meeting last week and it was a ploy. It was garbage. It was all of these things. But they have invited them back to the table today. Negotiating table is what we were all told. So maybe it's a step in the right direction. The Writers Guild, their asks in their contract are way stricter than ours when it comes to artificial intelligence and some other things, residuals, writers' rooms, things like that. Things that I am not super familiar with, but I can skim the surface on. Our contracts are not as big of an ask as theirs are. I'm thrilled to death that they're back at the table because today is strike day 102 for them and it's only day 29 for us.
Right. Yeah. And so
So,
let me just clarify, because they're on strike, they are not getting paid. They cannot work. They
mhm,
cannot do any of those things. And then therefore, now the actors are not working and they are not
no,
getting paid. And
no.
all of us consumers in the public are going to be pissed when all of our shows are coming out late.
You will have reruns this fall.
Don't want
If
any
we
reruns. If I do
if
not
we
get
don't get a
Yellowstone, if I
deal,
don't get the
it's
other half
bad.
of Yellowstone out, I mean, come on. We
It's
have been
bad.
dying for some Rip and Kevin Costner. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's really bad. And we here's what's sad is in 2020 we were considered essential workers.
So we're getting reruns, but don't worry, ain't no folks getting paid off of them because they're
Yeah.
not getting stream. You guys aren't getting streaming residuals, right?
We've never really gotten streaming residuals. It's you have to think when the last contract was done, it was pre-COVID. And I know that we say this all the time, but it truly was pre-COVID. And we didn't know what streaming was going to become. We didn't know that everybody was going to live on streaming come like
And that
2019.
launches would happen on streaming. Like they wouldn't happen on cable TV always like they
Yeah.
used to. Yeah.
Now, here we are, and we're filming things specifically for streaming,
Yes.
like this new Kelsey Grammer project, strictly streaming. It was made for streaming. It was and
Can you tell us where it will stream? Where will it stream? Can you tell us that or no?
it's a Paramount show, which
Okay.
is it's
Okay.
original to where the first and all the other situations
Okay.
were.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a Paramount show. But we didn't know where that was going. And so the way the contracts were negotiated, it wasn't negotiated for these normal standard network television residual numbers.
Yep.
And so we're trying to kind of nip some things in the bud a little bit. And then we're also trying to tell the AMPTP, look, what we did with streaming years ago, that's what you're trying to trick us into with AI. We don't understand AI. We don't know enough about it in the art world. We don't understand the whole there is this whole umbrella of things that we don't get about AI. And where we were with streaming, we're now there with AI. And
And
so we're
so
trying to
it's evolving so fast.
it
And so
does. It
you
all
guys are
does.
trying to like get ahead of the curve a little or
We
something,
are. We're
right?
trying
Yeah.
to protect ourselves in advance, unlike what was negotiated with our last contract with streaming. So here's the sad part, and there's been a lot of examples online. You can Google, you can look. It's people are getting residual checks that are literally the pages we get stuff, we get pages for streaming residuals, and it'll tell you all the number of streams. And it could be like 7, 8 pages long, front and back, all the time somebody's watched the episode that you're in, and your residual check is 27 cents. That's it. There was one guy from an old Disney Channel show, which is now streaming. It wasn't, but it's now streaming. So it goes under the streaming contract. He got a residuals check for $0, which means that there was enough streaming that a check had to be cut.
But
But
it
it was
didn't
still for
it averaged less than 1 penny.
correct.
So they
So
spent
there was
the
nothing to
52
cut.
cents to mail it to they lost 52 cents mailing him a $0 check.
Yeah. So he literally got a check in the mail for 0.00. It's so bad. But we're trying to right the wrongs of the past. We're trying to protect ourselves. So
Yeah.
no, we don't make all this money. A background actor that's union makes $189 a day. That is our base rate. And after
I think
California taxes,
I
it
think
comes out to like
I
150
I
something.
think substitute teachers here in Arkansas make between 100 and $140 a day, like public school substitute teachers.
Yeah,
So they're
which
making
is really sad.
$188 a day before
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah. And then there's just there's so many asks. There's so many asks of a background actor.
And
We
you
need you
can't
to
say
come
no.
to
You
set.
cannot say no because then you're out.
Well, you're easily replaced. You're always there's somebody that can always come in and replace you. And that's always when like we literally just had COVID restrictions lifted on like May 11th. We were still testing, we were still masking, we were still 6 feet. We were finally able to like eat at the
So
same table with people.
after the writers, so writers went on, I'm looking down at my notes. After the writers were on strike May 2nd, your COVID restrictions were lifted on May 11th.
Yeah, it's when the COVID restriction contract was.
I
So
couldn't even
it's when
like
it
I was
lifted.
sick earlier this week and I couldn't even find a mask in my house to wear to the clinic to go get the
Well,
IV
I live
drip.
in California and I have thousands. So you just let me know and I'll send you a brand new
Just ship
package.
me some, ship me some. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I can't even remember the last time we had masks. So, all right. So here you're in it for the long haul. I mean, you're unemployed until you're not. Do you get paid to go strike? Like to go to the
No,
lot?
I am a volunteer.
Y'all are volunteers. Okay. So all the actors and the writers that are showing up are there because they believe in the cause. They're not getting paid
Yeah.
to be there. What
Nobody's getting a
what is
check.
Drescher doing? This is what I want to know. What is she doing? Because I saw her as like in the beginning, and I'm like, she's everyone's nanny. Like she's like the Hollywood dream star that like
Yeah.
there's no controversy around her. Like she was such an amazing part of like growing up in the 90s and stuff. And I haven't seen her lately, but her voice is unmistakable. You know, she has
Oh,
this
yeah.
epic voice. And I saw her as like
Like
up on the
Janice.
yeah, yes, yes. And I was I was up on the saw her up on the podium and I'm like, what's Fran doing? This must be important because she's there.
She's our president. She is our
Oh, I
SAG
love
after
that.
president.
I
Yeah,
love
she is
that.
killing it. She's absolutely killing it. There was some media tried to pull controversy around her, and they were like, "Oh, she's in Italy doing this and at a runway show." And we're all like, "You don't understand our industry at all. If you're a spokesperson for a company, you're contractually required to be there and taking pictures. There's like literally we don't just go to these things
Like
out of the goodness of our hearts."
like go take that contract you have for 8 to 5 sitting behind a computer screen, berating people and tear it up because clearly everyone does not have to sit in front of the building at Paramount or wherever else
Yeah.
just to be supporting a movement.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. So many people, even here in LA, are like, the A-listers aren't out there. This person's not out there. This isn't out there. And I'm like, they don't have to be out
What if
there.
they're sick? What if they're caring for an elderly parent? What if they have kids to take to school? Like
What if
people,
they don't live here?
yeah, people still have lives that like actors. It's I feel, and I mean I hate to say it like this, but I feel like backwoods America. Okay, I said it. There it is. Haven't thought about the fact that even if you're an actor or you are a janitor at a public school doing a really essential job or you're a pharmacy tech, everybody has the same life requirements. Everyone has to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Everyone has to buy
Yep.
groceries. Everyone raises their kids. They care for aging parents. They have to go to doctor's appointments. Like, you don't, we see them on a screen for an hour and a half, and that's all we think. But like, they're just regular people. And so they can't be there all the time. That's an unrealistic expectation.
Well, and we don't make what people think we make.
Right.
We don't we're
$188 a day.
not all of us are George Clooney, not all of us are Julia Roberts, not all of us are Kevin Costner, but even then they have a manager, they have a publicist, they have an agent, they have along with their publicist, that publicist has a PR team. They have a financial advisor. Like if my paycheck was $1 million and I worked in the state of California, for starters, the ungodly amount of taxes that come out, it's
Yeah.
insane. It's disgusting. But the taxes come out. And then your agent gets 10 or 20%. And then your publicist gets this. And then this gets it.
And
There
so
are
you would be making like $100,000 a year if you were making a million.
it's a lot.
And
People
let's talk
people
about the
don't
hair.
get it.
Let's talk about how much self-care. Okay. I mean, I'm just a little business owner in Arkansas, but my bill at my skin bar at Skin Fix Med Spa in Little Rock, girl, I mean, what it takes to look like you look. You got to take care of yourself. You got to maintain. You got to stay in shape. personal trainers, hairstylists. I mean, just the regular everyday stuff that a lot of us women are doing on top of the fact that you're getting paid $188 a day
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I have been
or more, right? Yeah. Like I know that it can be more than that. But for some people, like you still got to look the part, even if you're there for a background actor, because you show up looking a wreck, you're not going to get the next job.
and that's what a lot of my friends have said. They're like, we don't get to write off our teeth whitening. We don't get to write off
Why?
we don't get to
Why?
write off things like that because it doesn't fit anywhere. We have different tax codes
I'm like,
because
hello, that is
Mhm.
marketing expense.
It's part of it. When I go and get my teeth whitened, I go when there's a sale because I'm like, holy crap, $300 to get my teeth whitened? Are you
Gosh,
kidding me? That's
yes.
like,
But you're an actor. You make millions of dollars.
I
You should be
make
able
so
to
much
afford this.
money.
And don't worry, they're going to pay you $150 and they're going to use your likeness forever to be in a brothel. And then now you're going to sit there with your grandkids and you're not getting paid for shiz. You could have
Yeah,
gone and literally worked at Goodwill or at this corner gas station and made more than $188 a day.
it's crazy. It is. But you think about it and you think about all this money that the WB and Disney and
Yes.
literally billions of
Yep.
dollars.
Yep.
And we're like, we just asked you for like a little tiny. If you look at the pie, there's a graph that's out right now. And if you look at the pie, it's like has all the different levels. And it's like, here's the pie. This is what the writers have asked for. And this is what the actors have asked for. But wait, it's not the whole pie. And they're
It's
like,
just
here's another image. And it keeps getting smaller and smaller. After you see the whole pie, you can't even see our sliver. You can't see it because we're not even asking. This contract is not even, it's not money driven. It is image driven. It is protection driven.
it's to
It's
protect the
life.
the art. It's to protect the art of it all though too. And
It is.
so to say that 87% of these people are not making $26,000 or more to qualify for health benefits is a testament in itself that you're not there for the money. Like you're there to protect the passion and for what you do and to
Yeah.
continue doing what you guys love. And we're in inflationary times. Like I have a childcare facility that has kids like birth through 5 years old. We opened 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the minimum wage in Arkansas was $7.25 an hour, and I was paying my daycare teachers $8.50 an hour, and they loved it. They thought that was great because minimum wage was
Yeah.
$7.25. Now minimum wage in Arkansas is $11 an hour. We are the highest state in any part of in like the southeast region in the U.S. And we pay our daycare teachers somewhere between like 12.50 and 14.50 an hour and the and we also do profit sharing and benefits and retirement and paid
There
time
you
off and
go.
maternity leave. We do all of those things. So it adds up quickly. But like that was 6 years ago. So 6 years ago, an entry level teacher has gone from making 850 to 1250 in Arkansas. Okay, so
Mhm.
let's say she works a 10-hour day because a lot of our teachers work 4 10, so they get a day off. So she works 10 hours a day at 1250. That's 122.50 with minimal training. Most of their training is on the job. If they've worked somewhere before and have experience, they're not making 1250. They're making more than that. So it's like you have to have like take that to California. You've got to be responsive to inflationary times and measures, A, for the pay, and then B, protecting the skill and the art of what you're doing, I think is huge. I think those two takeaways like make this all worth it. Like, and this is for like a layperson talking that I have no vested interest in it other than I'm like a justice person. I'm a Libra and I will like fight to the end of the time for what's right. And even if it's hard, like I'm going for the right thing. I'm going out for the underdog. And so I think what you guys are doing is amazing, but I think it's going to be hard. Do you have like in your mind, like I think this may end when? Like, you have any idea? Like you think, okay, I think we could do this in 30 or 60 days, or you're like, girl, this could be a year.
So I hope, this is my personal hope.
Yes.
I hope we have fixed this all. We have come to an agreement by middle of October.
Okay. So that's like 60 days or so. Yeah. Optimistically.
Our union has told us to prepare for February.
Christmas is going to be slim this year.
It's going to be bad.
But what also happens is so like this is like a meta perspective, right? So we take these people who are door dashing and doing other things on the side. So they're not just making 26,000 a year, right? Maybe they're making a little more than that. And so when something like this happens, and this is such a big industry in California, this is going to put a strain on state benefits because now we're going to have
It,
more people on we call it they have EBT cards, but it's
Mhm.
nutrition supplements and
Yes.
nutrition supplementation, like they pay for food and stuff. Food stamps is what they called it back in the day, but
Yeah,
I don't,
forever ago.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, and then you've got state health insurance. I know here, like if people that are low income, they can get on state health benefits, and so can their
Yep.
children. and you're talking about people filing unemployment because I'm assuming you guys are eligible for unemployment. Yes, yes. And so you're getting like two pennies on that $188. Yeah,
Basically.
yeah. You know, it's
It's
not a lot. I learned a lot
mm,
about unemployment through the pandemic because our staff, all of our staff, took voluntary unemployment. So they were able to, if everybody that was eligible took voluntary unemployment, and so I was, of course, like even though I wasn't paying them, I was vested in sitting with them side by side, making sure they got the portal set up and the
yeah.
all the things because I mean I feel responsible for them even if I wasn't paying them or not because we had to shut down for a little while completely being like a recreational fitness facility, you know. So that is it's just it's so much like you don't you just it's not just the $1 million check. Like now we're putting strain on the state of California's, you know, I feel like they have a vested interest in this coming through too by October, not February.
Well, a figure that came out yesterday, which I thought was crazy important and goes right into that, is people don't realize what goes into filmmaking and what goes into TV productions. We have caterers that come in. They are purely motion, a lot of them are purely motion picture
And
caterers.
they are unemployed right now.
They're unemployed right now. We have grips. We've got guys that build our sets. We have crafty, which is like our little, basically our little snack area. Our people in crafty are without a job.
Costumes.
Yes, one of my favorite wardrobers from one of my favorite shows I've ever did. She got very fortunate, and she is on an independent project right now. So she is working, but like I you don't think, I mean, at this show that I did back, we have a DJ because we film in front of a live studio audience. When we come in, we have a DJ. We have a set photographer. We have so many different aspects to this industry, and the figure that came out yesterday is disgusting.
What is it?
So the writers, this is purely based on the writer strike. The writers contract, per what this says, is that the writer's contract was asking for, it said $429 million, but I thought it was like $623 million. That's what I originally thought. So still in the scheme of billions and billions of dollars over 3 years, that's not a lot of money. Okay.
No,
Not in this
no,
industry. It's
no,
not.
not with that many people though.
No, it's not, because there's a little over 11,000 writers. And so that this contract is for them. Actors, we have 160,000 members in SAG-AFTRA.
Ugh,
So, but the writer's strike, say it was asking for 423, say it was asking for 623. It has cost the Los Angeles economy, just Los Angeles, $3 billion since May.
over a $600 million contract. And so May, and you said this was the 100 and so May,
103 days. 102. Today's
May,
102.
June, July, August. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We're right over that. So and
About
that
a
and
billion
that
dollars
and
a
that
month.
doesn't even talk about the fact that what about the people who are supporting families across the country? What about the people who are supporting foreign families? Because there
Well,
are
what
people
about the people who, like, if they come to LA for a job and then they go back home,
hair and
that's
makeup.
not
Like my
even
hair and makeup girl, she travels and does stuff. Like I just happen to know her and she's like industry demand kind of
yeah.
girl that happens to have family lives in Little Rock. And so I'm
One of
able
my
to
hairstylists, that I love dearly, oh my God, I love him so much. He was on Real Housewives of New Jersey, I think.
okay.
He was one of their hairstylists. And now he lives here. And he told me this week, he's like, I've got to go back to a salon. He's like, this industry is like killing me, like mentally and all these things. But it's just, I mean, it's just wild what you think. I
The
mean,
it's
one of our,
it's a ripple effect.
it is, and our big costume warehouse is shut down. I mean, like they are big costume
Stop.
warehouse.
Uh,
It's incredible. It's like
but it's very overwhelming. I would be
it
like,
is like
I don't even like to
beautiful,
shop. I don't even like to shop. So I'm like, I'd be like, oh, I don't know where to start.
but it's cages. It's weird. Like each show has a cage, and then there's the warehouse, and they fill the cage with it literally, it's like creepy when you walk in there, but it's, you look and you're like, oh my gosh,
Like
like that
all
was
the
Marilyn
shows,
Monroe,
all
like
the
Marilyn Monroe work.
okay,
It's stuff like that.
that's
They have
cool.
like this,
Yeah, that's
it's
cool.
just
So it's like kind of
amazing.
like a walk down memory lane for sure.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the cool thing is there's this show a couple of years ago that I did more than one episode with, and I would have to go to my fittings, and I would walk in and they would have just unloaded the truck from like the last week stuff. And I'm sitting there and I was like, that was mine.
That was
I'm like,
fine.
"That's
That was
mine.
fine. That
I
was
wore
fine.
that. That's
Yeah, I wore
mine."
that. That's cool.
And I'm like,
That's
now
cool.
I'm sitting here at Western costume, which is
Yes,
historically and just incredible. I'm like, "That was mine."
that was
See, do
fine.
you see
It's
that
in there.
difference
That's
there?
in there.
That was
That's
mine.
in there. That's in there. I
I
love
wore that
that.
with Michael Good. That
Yeah,
was
yeah, that
mine.
was
Yeah.
me. Yeah. I love that. So now tell us what's next. What's next for you? What's next in your journey?
What's next is we right now, I'm like looking here, right?
Yeah.
I can't look.
It's like pandemic 2.0 on an LA scheme. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It is, but it's hitting us worse, which is what we were told last week, that this is historically it's hitting us harder than COVID because we just got over COVID. And so we still don't have savings accounts built.
May 11th. You just got done using pandemic procedures.
Literally, we just finished COVID in May.
Yes.
Okay? Okay?
Yes,
Look,
yes,
we
yes,
are
and so the financial strain that it's put on people, especially single income households, you know, like you are fortunate to
oh,
have a husband who's a contractor with the military, and that's an extremely stable position. My
yeah.
cousin is a contractor with the military as well. He's former Army, then was reserves, and now he's a contractor. But
Well,
this
that's why I'm out there. That's why I told Clint and I were talking about it last night, and I was talking to some of my other friends the other day. Some of my best friends, one of them went and got a job on a cruise ship. Like he's gone. His background is theater, so he
can
went
he
and got a
work? He can
job.
work on a cruise ship, even though he's
He's
in.
worked on a cruise ship
Is no, but
before.
is he in SAG or no?
Yeah, yeah, he's a SAG member,
So
but
how
it's
can
different because
Okay,
it's
got it. Okay, it's
theatrical
not
on a
screen because
cruise ship.
that's Screen Actors Guild, and
Yeah,
this is stage. Okay, I
yeah,
got it. Yeah, good for
yeah,
him. I
because
mean, they were
there's so
how
many.
lucky. I mean, I bet the cruise ships. Yeah, we just went to a Disney cruise year before last, but like, how about the cruise ships? They're like having a great time casting right now because there's like the
Oh,
huge pot of people available.
oh yeah, he was like, "You know what? There's nothing going on here. So I'm
I'm
just gonna go
out.
back to the cruise ship
Yep.
industry." So he's gone.
So
One of
he's
my other friends went and got a job at like a med spa,
yeah.
and I they're all single. So single income.
And so you're striking for them because
I'm striking
they can't stand out there.
I'm out there. I'm out there 3, 4 days a week, whatever I'm doing that specific week, because I can be, because I
Yes.
have the privilege. I don't want to
Yes.
call it privilege, but I
Yeah,
feel,
you have a dual income household.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel so fortunate and so lucky, blessed,
Yeah.
whatever you want to say. To my husband has built such a great career
Yeah.
that if my friends can't be out there, if there's other people that can't be out there, I mean, this sounds stupid, but if George Clooney can't be out there because it's a security risk to not just him, but everybody else around
Yeah. Yeah, it
a
is.
lot,
Yeah.
I'm out there for the people who can't be there. I'm
Yes.
volunteering. No, they're not paying us. I get up at 6:40. I leave the house at 6:45 to
Yeah.
be there to help set up. I I'm there because I want to be there, but I'm also there. I don't feel like I have an obligation to be there, but I do.
Like you're
It's
there for all the people that you're
I'm
and
there
for the
because I
big
can be.
and to save your industry because you don't need
Yeah.
these like your industry does not need these great people going to med spa. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with med spa or a salon, but if
No, we
they're
love us some med
yes,
spas and salons.
yeah,
That is
girl. I
essential. That
know.
is
I was
essential
there
work.
yesterday, but like, yeah, it is. Yes, it is. But like, if their calling is to be in, in acting with the actors on set and all that, your industry can't afford to lose all those people.
No, we can't afford to lose anybody. We can't
Yep.
afford to lose our caterers. We can't
Yeah.
afford to lose our hair and makeup. And we are. All these people are going and finding other
They have
jobs.
to. They gotta feed their families.
They do, because we call it EDD here. Unemployment benefits is called EDD.
Okay.
And EDD, the maximum, it won't even pay your rent.
Uh,
It may help with your groceries, but
yeah.
it's not even going to pay your rent. But even then, all the systems are so depleted, even though California had a huge surplus, but so many of our state systems are depleted. Our savings accounts are depleted. I've
Yeah.
got friends who literally don't even have a savings account because
They had to live on it during the pandemic.
they did. And, yesterday or day before yesterday, when Billy Porter came out and said that he's got to sell his house. And this is what the AMPTP wanted.
Yes.
They said they're going to starve us out. They are going to wait until, and they were specifically talking about the writers, but they literally said it like days before we went on strike, I feel like. But they're going to starve us out. They're going to wait until we start losing our houses and losing our apartments. And then maybe we'll come back to the negotiating table and accept a lower, lesser deal. Well, I mean, I got news for them. We've got 15 people within our industry alone that have donated over $1 million to our foundation so that we can pay our bills. We have we've got people that have they're hustling. They're going out and getting other jobs.
Yes, they're driving DoorDash and Uber and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah.
But like my mom and I were talking yesterday and she was like, in so many situations this would have fizzled out. But we are such a group of passionate
I
people.
mean, just to also say though that 97, 98% or whatever voted for this shows how much, solidarity there is in this movement.
They
And
were historical votes for
yeah,
both unions. The
yeah.
votes were absolutely historical for voter turnout, for percentage of agreement and solidarity, for all of these things. Do we want to strike? Do we want to be here? No.
No, you want to
But we
work because you're
said,
not getting paid to
yeah,
be
we
there.
said we're not gonna have this discussion with you for all of these months. And then when the deadline comes, you want for starters, with us, they extended our deadline. We agreed to a deadline extension. Okay. And then the day before the deadline extension, technically 48 hours before, the AMPTP came in and they said, oh, we want a federal mediator to come in. Today, you want to, like, literally tomorrow's our last day of negotiations and we're not extending again. Fran was like, no, we're not extending again. This is ridiculous. But they're like, we're going to have a federal mediator come in. We should have had that done a month ago.
Yep, yep.
Because now they have to come in. Our contract, what we wanted in our contract is 19 pages long. They put out, and it's literally because I printed some stuff. I mean, I've always had this printed, but I've got it sitting here. For example, this is one page. I don't know if you
Okay.
can see it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this one page has several things
I
on it.
see that. I
And
see what you have highlighted. Late payment.
well, that is one of our biggest issues, and I've dealt with it. But
Yeah.
what's funny is like, and I will read you this word for word. This is what we asked for, and this is the AMPTP's rebuttal.
Okay.
We asked to increase liquidated damages due to the unacceptable trend of late payments. Rejected.
That's what they put.
They said, though we admit that our companies consistently pay late, they have stated that they still will not pay on time, even with increased penalties.
Guess they'll just pay more then. And that
I
makes sense
bet.
how? So it sounds like
It
it
doesn't.
sounds like their accounting departments need some help.
Well, here's what's funny. We kept saying, but you don't have the money. How are you going to pay that? You don't have the money. That's their argument. We don't have the money to pay your contract. We don't
But you
do
have
that.
the
I'm like,
money to pay extra late fees?
exactly. Well,
Oh my God.
there's so many great quotes coming out from CEOs right now. They're just like,
Carol. Damn Carol.
they're just like digging their holes.
Yes.
Last week, the CEO of WB Discovery said, in the second quarter during the writer's strike, we saved $100 million. And I'm like, you know what? I bet if Nabisco stopped making Oreos, they could also save a lot of money.
No doubt. Nabisco, stop
But
making Oreos. That's hilarious.
what are you going to sell in the third quarter?
Yes, absolutely nothing.
You got nothing. I mean, if Nabisco loses Oreo, the ship is sinking.
Sinking,
It is
it is.
gone.
It's like Anheuser-Busch all over again. Start selling off them other labels.
You are done. You
See,
are done.
yes.
You have to spend money to
To
make
make
money.
money. Yes, you
Everybody
do.
know that is basic. My 12-year-old knows basic economics.
Economics 101. Yes,
I
no
mean,
doubt.
it is. But just the audacity of him to be like, we saved $100 million in the second quarter.
You're like, come on now. Come on now.
Do you want us to
Okay.
slow clap for you? Like, what do you want? Like, you realize that you saved $100 million because you're not creating any product.
Content.
And your product is us. We are your product. So you realize, like,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
do you know who Adam Shapiro is?
I do. I
Okay,
actually
well,
do.
he's a mess. He's one of my new buddies. And he started during COVID, he started a pretzel company.
Oh, I didn't
Okay.
know that. No, I did not know that.
It's soft pretzels, and he has sponsors, actor like A-list, whoever, comedians, whatever, that will sponsor the truck for a day, and he will deliver pretzels to one of the studios.
Okay.
So he came to Paramount one day last week, and he has the most epic Instagram reel that I have seen describing actors and some of the things that, like Bob Iger at Disney, what he what he said about us in that interview about how we're being like of what we're being unrealistic or we're being whatever because of what we're asking for. And Adam goes, he literally like up and he's like, we're actors. In what aspect do you think that we went into this career thinking we were going to be realistic? We're not realistic. Like, he's like, you want to
Okay.
starve us out?
You'll have to send me the link so I can put it down in the show notes because I feel like people
So
are going to want
good.
to see this.
It's so good.
You'll have to send me the link for sure.
But he even says some things like, you want to starve us out? We're starving artists.
Already, yes, we are starving
What was
actors. What did you think was
there?
going to happen? We're equipped for this
This, like, we've literally been preparing for this moment.
our
Like,
whole lives.
this is our time. We are
Mm.
doing this.
Yes,
But they're talking about the heat and like being
100,000 of us are doing this.
oh, you have no like the other day we had oh dang, I can't even say it. There's like a big show franchise, and we had a big day for them at Paramount because they're a Paramount show. And we'll just think of like McGee and Gibbs and I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Mm-mm.
Navy criminal sort
Got
of
it on it.
situation.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
I'm
So we
there.
had a big day. All the franchises were there.
Gibbs, I'm with
Hawaii,
you now. I'm back.
DC, LA, New Orleans, even though they're not even airing anymore.
Yes,
Scott
yes,
was there. So they're all there. Before noon, we had 600 people check in at the SAG after tent.
yes,
Before noon. And I'm like, they want this to go away so bad, but we're
yes. They
only
want.
getting bigger.
Yep, and stronger. Yep, I love it. I
We
love it. Well,
are.
I think we need to have you back on the podcast after it's settled, like after the deal's signed, so you can give us an update. I think that would be great.
Gosh, I want it settled like yesterday.
I know, I know. So we'll have to reconnect. So is there anything else you wanted me to ask you about?
I don't know.
Okay. Anything you want to ask me about? No? Good.
No, you don't
All right.
really we don't really live in the same wheelhouse. I
No,
don't
we
do a lot of
don't.
cheerleading.
Yeah, yeah. We it's only a small part of what we do now, but yeah, it is. I love it. It's my roots for
No,
sure. And
no,
I
like
don't sing either. So see, there we go. That's why I wasn't a honeybee. I was not a honeybee because I
right?
cannot sing. Okay, so
I mean,
I have one question to ask every guest at the end of the episode. And so I'm going to give you a parameter on yours because yours can't be to do with the strike. Okay, I'm not going to let your answer be with the strike. So what is one thing that you've always wanted to do but you haven't yet, besides end a strike?
besides in the strike or in the
Yeah.
industry, period,
Yeah,
the
no,
end.
it could be anything. Anything that you've always wanted to do but you haven't done yet. Like one girl I had on wants to kayak. She's never been kayaking. And then some people have a lot more intimate like answers. So,
I don't know because I am that person that
yeah,
I
I know.
YOLO everything.
Me too. I feel like
I
I'm the
do.
same way. Like I think the only thing I probably have like on my list is like places I haven't traveled yet. Like I don't
That's
have
that's
yeah.
what that would be mine because we love to travel
Where do
and
you want to
we
go? Where do you want to go?
everywhere.
Yes, I know. I'm like, oh, I haven't been there yet. I want to come. Tell me about it. Okay, let me check
I
out
know.
airfare. I'll be
Like,
there.
I love Europe. I love Italy. I
Yes.
love like, we go back to Hawaii every year. Like, my son was born in Hawaii when we were
But like
stationed there,
the
and
Maui fires.
I
Have you
know, like,
seen this?
it's just absolutely
I've been to Maui
so
3
heartbreaking.
times, and that's the only place I've ever been to in Hawaii, and I just keep going back
Yeah,
there because I love it, and it just breaks my heart. So
it does. It's
sad.
it's like,
So
I've seen
sad.
pictures and videos, and because I'm in LA, I've got friends who are here, but, like, they're from Hawaii,
Yeah,
or there's a lot of Hawaii transplants here,
yeah.
and these people some of my friends who are, like, posting on Instagram, and one my friend Evan specifically, his mom lives in Maui, and he's like, "Has
Oh,
anybody heard from my mom?" Like, the cell
yeah.
phone that I can't get a hold of my mom. He's like and then the
Could
next
you
post was like, "I
imagine?
tried to call her again. If anybody sees this, can you please go check on my mom?" And I'm just like and I
Can
love
you
Evan.
imagine? Can you
It's
imagine? And they're probably not even taking I don't know if they're taking flights in right now either, you know?
they're taking empty planes in right now. So
Okay.
Southwest, United,
And flying people out?
then they're flying people out. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So it's not like he could go down there and check on her, you know?
No, he
Oh,
can't. And I mean, he could probably get there, but again, hashtag strike, hashtag
no
money,
money
hashtag
and private planes doesn't end well having to
yeah,
pay, charter a
yeah.
$10,000 plane to go fly around. So
I know
yeah,
it's wild. It
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 is.
is.
It
It,
is. Well,
it's heartbreaking,
I
but
can't wait to get an update from you. And thank you so much for being on today. It was great. I feel like I learned so much about you and about the strike and just kind of bringing awareness to the whole cause.
oh, and there's what's sad is there's so much more that you
I'm
can't
sure there
even
is.
you can't even touch on.
Cover
It's
in one
just
thing.
there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
So we're not
absolutely.
crybabies.
Well,
We're
thank you
not
for, yeah, I know, I can tell. You're like, we're just starving artists.
we just want to be there. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I just want to be, I was like, I just can't, this is something that I can't live without right now.
Yeah.
Like that camaraderie, like that. And he was like, well, someday you're going to have to. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not there yet. I'll be
Yep.
there someday,
Yep.
but
Yep.
I'm not there yet.
Yep.
And he's like, well, don't you think that they know that you guys are desperate to get back? And I'm like, yeah, they know, but we're also blocking their entrances to their businesses. And they know that we mean business, and that when we come back, we're going to be treated like
Better.
humans. We're going to
Yeah.
be treated like people.
And not
So,
workhorses. Yeah,
but yeah,
absolutely. I
no,
love
we're
that.
fighting across
You're
the
doing
board
it.
for
You're doing
unions
it.
everywhere.
You're doing it. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today.
It's been great.
Yes, yes. Until next time.
You've been listening to the Grit Crusade podcast with Brooke Plack. Our theme song is Thunder City by Lunar Ray, licensed through Soundstripe. This podcast was produced by Luminate Media Group. Thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.